Hey guys, Matthew with Surface Pro Marketing here. Today we're going to be going over how to build out our hero graphic and build our first home page. Yay, we've made it! So what we want to do is we want to go to our actual home page, which we set up earlier in previous videos. So if you haven't viewed those, go ahead and check them out. But basically what we want to do is we want to go edit page. Now this is going to bring us back into our WordPress dashboard, but that's okay. What we want to do is we want to go edit with Elementor in the top left hand corner here. And that's going to bring us back into our main page or our page builder. So it's nice and easy to see what's going on here. Now you have a variety of different things to play around with here. And this is our introduction to Elementor, including Divi blocks, flexbox, tabs, headings, images, graphics, paragraphs, buttons, dividers. There's a variety of forms that you can play around with, as well as custom widgets if you really want to. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to stick to the basics, as well as the pro features that we have inside of Elementor. Mainly what we're going to be focusing on is actually building out our forms, building out our page, building out the content that really looks sharp on there. Now, Atomic Elements and Atomic Forms are brand new. But yeah, we're gonna be playing around with kind of the basic elements and the stuff that Elementor's had for years. Now, what we want to do, you guys, obviously, you've got a whole variety of things that you can play around with in here. Testimonials, counters, galleries, icon boxes, all kinds of things. But please, please, please do familiarize yourself with both the basic and the pro features inside of this so that you guys can, get used to playing around with the site. Now, don't be afraid to go ahead and mess around with a couple of these things. You can always delete them. Like if we want to drag and drop our image inside of here, you can just go ahead and delete that. Now, the first things first, what we want to do is we want to actually delete this plumber's medicine hat functionality and see what the heck is going on there. So if we end up going into our Okay, guys, so if we end up going into our, there's a bit of a feature up here that's been changed. This is Angie, so it's an AI bot that we can end up using there. Playing around with our Elementor feature elements. If we ever want to go back into there, we can do that through this plus icon. But in order to remove this here, what we want to do is we want to go into our page settings. Now this page is called plumber's medicine hat because obviously that's where we optimize our keyword for. And we want to go way to the bottom here. And we want to do Elementor full width. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to expand the entire look of the page, and more importantly, get rid of that content layout that we are looking at there as well. Now, I always usually play around with Flexbox. I don't end up touching grid itself. Flexbox is just a really handy little tool. Basically what it's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to build a wireframe around our website. So we got our wireframe inside of here. And basically what we're going to be doing now is we've got this set up where we can do left and right if we want to. And we can go into content width and we can go full width. That's going to expand the entire course of the Elementor page itself. The container layout is always usually going to be Flexbox. Like I said, we don't want to be playing around with the grid feature or functionality. But the first thing we want to do is we want to go in and edit the container itself. So now that we're inside of the container, what we want to do is we want to add a potentially even a video. So if I go into YouTube, for example, and I just type in plumber stock videos, what this is going to do is it's going to give us a variety of plumbing stock video footage that we can play around with. And we can check a couple of these out. We're just going to have a look at this one. It's 39 seconds. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy that link just by hitting the Control C. We're going to go back into that and we're going to go into our video and then into our video link, so that what happens is we end up getting a really nice looking video working in the background, as you can see right there. Now, the color itself, there's a couple of things that we can do to play around with this. I usually end up using my start time at 0 seconds just because I don't want I want this video playing right away in the background. But basically what we can do is we can go into our hover and we can go in our background overlay if we want to. We can go to our background overlay and we can set up a gradient or a classic look. Now we want the color itself. What the background overlay is going to do is it's going to overlay a color on top of the video itself. I usually end up going with black. You notice that you can go with red, white, whatever branding color you want to make it out. As a matter of fact, we could even do using our color picker. All right, exit out of that bad boy. And then we can do even the background overlay for that there as well. So we have a couple of options to play with when it comes to that. But now we can start building out, if we go into our plus icon, we can start building out our elements and we can start putting in our elements inside of here. So H1, that's a really important thing that I'm going to be going over in my search engine optimization course for you guys there. But what we can do is we can go Plumber's Medicine Hat. Plumber's Medicine Hat H1. This is the hierarchy of the site. This is the most important hierarchy HTML tag that we're trying to indicate what the page is about. We want to go style. We want to center it up. Typography. Maybe we don't want to go with our system default. Maybe we want to go with something like Roboto, for example. I really like the Roboto font. It's a nice looking font and it works well with a variety of different website development platforms. But the cool thing is that we can now go and play around with this so that we can go into style itself, typography, text shadow, stroke, blend mode, and text color. We want this to be a nice white color because we got the nice colored background over top of it. And we want to go into our content or back in our Elementor forms. And what we want to do is we want to add this little spacer function. So the spacer function, what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to top out or add space to the Elementor function itself, so that we can see that it's bringing down the header option and making it a little more centered. Now I'm going to go ahead and add another spacer in the bottom of this because I want this to start expanding the actual header element itself so that we can start seeing not only the nice beautiful video, but later on we can add a beautiful form to this as well. So now we've got that. We want to go into our text editor. We can go into clicking on this. Well, let's choose handling your plumbing needs in Medicine Hat last 20 plus years. Your home clean. So now we've got that. We're just going to remove that space in there as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to bold that, stylize it, center it up, typography, Roboto, size, we're going to make it nice and a bit bigger. Actually, we're going to make this a little bit bigger as well. So we can go in size, typography, size, and bam. That is a really cool looking content style. Let's go into text color, make this nice and white. Cool. Now we've got this header function. We can play around with that and adjust it as we need to. Something that I really like to do is I really like to add a button. Now going ahead and adding a button right down here. Again, this is going to be a very plain looking button. The type is always going to be default. Just use an old phone number. Now, in order to make our telephone links nice and functioning, we want to enter in the code TEL 403-331 15229. And we've got that icon. Now we got the opportunity to play around with that there. Now we can go in our icon library and we can go phone. Insert, cool. This button's looking really great so far. Now we go back into our stylizing, and once again, we're going to center that up. We are going to go, typography is going to once again be Roboto. Text color is going to be white. Background type, we're not going to set a gradient on that. What we're going to do is we're going to use our handy dandy little color tool inside of here. And typography, we're going to make this nice and large. So it's dead simple. And we are going to go and create that there. So now we got the spacer below, the spacer above, and we've got the opportunity to look at that. Now we see right there that it's just Plumbers and Medicine Hat, handling your plumbing needs for the last 20 years, keeping your home clean, and then a nice phone call button. Now if you want to do a couple of changes around with this, you can actually go into the hover color and you can pick out a gradient so that it's maybe a little bit darker than what you're, so that it goes into an actual actionable feature, and you can see that it ends up hovering. So it's now a little bit darker inside of there as well. Alternatively, what we can do is we can make the text color black, the color of the button completely white, and then the hover over it, we can change around the text color so that when we hover over it, it becomes white and it becomes gradiented to our website itself. Now, there's a variety of different features that you can play around with here. The one I like to play around with the most is the border radius, and that just adds a nice border to our website there as well. And voila, we're just going to publish that. We're going to take a look, preview our changes, and now you can see that we're starting to get this beautiful looking website built from the top to the bottom in regards to that. Now we're not done yet. We want to go into add elements. And so actually what you're going to do, you guys, after deciding and playing around with it for a couple of minutes here, I'm just going to delete that form. We're going to go to the classic form editor. Not because it's a brand new feature in Elementor and it's actually a little bit buggy, where their classic form function is still nice and handy. So we can go name, email, message if we want to, but the cool thing is that we can do text, email, phone number, select, check, box, radio box, acceptance, whatever we want to. They can upload content area if they want to. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to add a telephone link. And we're going to add a phone number placeholder. And we can take away the actual label itself. And we can go and take away this message item. And we can go and physically edit the email if we want to. Email, name. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text to the bottom of this. Complimentary All right, center that up. And once again, we're going to end up choosing a little bit of a larger size. 22 pixels is about as big as it's going to go. Roboto. Weight. We can do bold. Let's do light. All right, and we're going to go text color is once again going to be white. So name, email, phone number, and you can add whatever you want to in these forms, you guys. There's a variety of options to play around with here. The select, radio, checkbox, acceptance, URL, text area. We're going to actually add a text area inside of here as well and just say, what can we help you with? Keep it nice and simple. Now, I don't like how this is sitting up top and not really centered with this right inside of here as well. What we want to do is we want to add something to that. We want to add a spacer widget and just get that nice and lined up with the top of the page and the bottom of the page. Now the cool thing is that Elementor has an automatic feature where it allows you to see not only your website in your desktop version, but it'll allow you to see your website in your inside of like an iPad, for example, or inside of a mobile device. So I don't like how this is actually turning out. So all I got to do is I got to go in here and once again style it, size it down, Plumbers and Medicine Hat, style it, typography, size it down, style it, typography, size it down. Voila, there's too much space inside of here, so we're gonna shorten that up. Voila. That is optimized for mobile now. Very simple to do. And we want to go into here and we want to optimize it for an iPad. So same thing, typography. Size it down. Typography. Voila. And that looks good. So now we can publish that. Check on our, see what's going on with our website itself. And voila, we have a beautiful homepage. Now there's one last feature that I want to play around with here, you guys, is I just want to go into the content itself or even the styling. And what I want to do is I want to edit the entire container. There's this additional options feature down here. Yeah, we're not going to be using a whole lot of that. But the style itself, there's a shape divider option. So you got these shapes that you can play around with in the top and the bottom. What we can do is we could set it up so it's like clouds or this cool graphic or that cool graphic. There's a lot of different options that you can play with there. Just make sure it looks good. And yeah, away you go with that. Now, the cool thing is that you can actually set the height of your clouds so that maybe they're looking a little clean like that. And there we go, you guys. We ended up creating our hero graphic and giving you guys a really quick introduction into some of the Elementor tools that allow you to play with that and build out a form to get that going. The one thing that I'm going to show you maybe in next videos when we end up adding our forms is going over and actually editing this so it's going directly to your inbox. And basically allowing you guys to start generating leads off of your guys' website there as well. And we're going to be sending it to the admin at medhatplumbing.com website, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if that's your thing, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks. Talk to you soon.